All right, let's dive into a classic social experiment. It's one of those that really reveals something, well, fascinating and maybe a little unsettling about why we humans have this powerful, almost automatic urge to just follow the crowd. So just picture this for a second. You walk into a waiting room, minding your own business, and then suddenly a beep sounds and every single person in the room just stands up. Then they sit right back down. No explanation. What do? Do you just sit there, or do you stand up with them? So the whole experiment kicks off in the most boring, everyday place you can imagine, a doctor's waiting room. An unsuspecting woman walks in, grabs a magazine, finds a chair, and she has absolutely no idea that she's the star of the show. To her, everything looks completely normal. But of course, it's anything but normal. See, she's the only person in that room who isn't in on the secret. Everyone else, they're all actors. There's a hidden camera catching every move, and they're all just waiting for a very specific signal. A simple little beep. And then it happens. The beep sounds, and in this perfectly coordinated, super weird moment, every single actor in the room stands up at the same time, and just as quickly, they all sit back down. Nobody says a single word. Her reaction is exactly what you'd expect. Pure confusion. You can see her looking around trying to figure out what is going on. Did she miss something? Was there an announcement? But nope, there's no reason for it. And then another beep, and they all do it again. And then you can almost see it coming. The inevitable happens. After the third beep, she gives in. She kind of hesitates, looks around one last time, and then she stands up right along with the group. That need to fit in, to not be the only one sitting down, it just completely took over. But hold on, the experiment is far from over. In fact, this is where it gets even weirder. One by one, the actors start getting called out of the room, for their appointment. This leaves our woman with fewer and fewer people to copy. And then, eventually, she's the only person left in the room. She's completely alone. There's no crowd to follow anymore. And yet, you guessed it, when that beep sounds, she still stands up. The behavior is now totally ingrained. It's become her rule, even though she has no earthly idea why she's doing it. Okay, now for the grand finale. A new person walks into the waiting room. He's another real participant, totally clueless about what's been going on. And just like that, our original subject, she's no longer the follower. She is the crowd. So the beep goes off, she stands up. The new guy just looks at her, totally bewildered. And he does what any of us would do, right? He asks the obvious question. Why are you doing that? And her answer, oh, it's just perfect. It gets right to the heart of this whole thing. She doesn't have a real reason. It's not a fire drill, not a doctor's instruction. Her entire explanation is just, everybody was doing it, so I thought I was supposed to. That's it. That's the power of social pressure in a nutshell. And here's the craziest part. For him, that's a good enough reason. The next time the beep sounds, he stands up too. A completely pointless, unwritten, unexplained rule was just passed from one total stranger to another. All because of that powerful little thought, well, they must know something I don't. So what is this incredible force we just watched? What's going on here? Well, psychologists have a name for it, and it really explains why our brains so often just flip on the autopilot in social situations. It's called social conformity. It's just that deep, often subconscious tendency we all have to line up our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions with the people around us. It's like a social glue, It helps us function as a group, but as we just saw, it can also make us do some pretty bizarre things. So why is this impulse to conform so strong? Well, it really comes down to a few basic human drivers. First, we have this need to be correct, right? We assume the group knows best. Then there's that deep, deep desire to be liked and to fit in. And honestly, it's just easier. It's a mental shortcut that saves us the energy of having to question every little thing all the time. I think the big takeaway from all this is just how much of our day-to-day life is run by this autopilot mode. We follow fashion trends, we adopt opinions, we do things just because it's how it's done, often without ever stopping to ask ourselves, wait a minute, does this actually make any sense? And that really just leaves us with one final question to chew on. In your own life, at your job, with your friends, even online, are you really thinking for yourself? Or are you maybe just following the beep?